Hi, my name is Beth Hiley here for Board Game Geek at SPIEL 2016. I'm sitting down with Viktor Peter of Mind Clash Games, and you brought us the very big box of Anachrony.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Viktor, and I would like to give you a quick overview of our newest game, Anachrony, which was just kickstarted in June. So, this is a game set in a distant future where humanity has been torn apart by an unknown disaster to four different ideological paths. We have the path of harmony, believing in coexisting with nature. We have the path of salvation, believing in God's omnipotence. Then we have the path of progress, believing in knowledge and human ingenuity. And we have the path of dominance, believing in the strength of arms and military hierarchy.
Each one of these having their own player board.
Yes, exactly. And each board has two sides with different, with a symmetric and an asymmetric side,
nice.
gameplay-wise. And then we have our fifth independent capital here. It's kind of like a melting pot and a meeting point between these four paths, which otherwise live in separation. This is also an action hub because at its heart it's a worker placement game. You can place your workers within your own territory or on the common worker placement spots on the field. Now, at the beginning of the story, since time travel is a known and accepted and well-working thing in this day and age,
awesome.
We receive news from the future that a meteor impact is looming on the horizon, and it is threatening to cause a global disaster which will eventually tear down the world capital. Now, the world capital is not safe, but the paths are, since they have a quite reinforced stronghold, so they see it rather as an opportunity than a threat. So they set out to strengthen their cities, to prosper, to gather more people, as many people as possible, and eventually become the world capital, the new world capital after the original one has fallen. So that's the story in a nutshell. The good thing is about one of the special things about the game is that this impact actually happens in the game after the fourth turn, which radically changes the board and also triggers the countdown to the end game since the capital starts burning down. So that's one thing, one cool aspect of the game. The other is time travel. Like I said, it's not just used to get bad news from the future, but also to help in your resource management. Basically, you have four types of resources and water as like the basic currency in this future, and each resource and even workers can be warped in from the future. At the beginning of each turn, I can decide. Okay, I need, let's say, an engineer from the future. It's a decision, it only takes. The time portal opens up and a guy, an engineer from the future arrives, and he's ready to work for you today. But of course, it doesn't come free, since as we pass through the eras, we will eventually reach the future when he came from. So when that happens, we have to actually build the time machine, which we use to send him back and send him back.
Okay, all right.
So if you can successfully send him back, that's great because you can score victory points. But if you cannot, and you leave these warp tiles on the timeline for too long, then they will eventually start to cause like temporal distortions. You will start acquiring paradoxes, and after you acquire your third paradox, you get an anomaly, which is kind of like a harmful building worth negative victory points and like eating up your building space here in your base.
Yeah, and actually I'm just going to move our player board here kind of more to the middle so we can see. So this is the paradox, or excuse me, the anomaly we've been talking about.
Yes, exactly. So that's the time travel. The other aspect that we really like is the system of exosuits that adds a little more twist, another strategic layer to the normal worker placement system. Since we can build our initially empty base full of buildings. We have four different types of buildings.
Here, why don't you we'll build them up on this one here.
Sure. We can build four different types of buildings, and your workers can easily operate on these buildings just by placing on them, just like in most worker placement games. Now the catch is, you do not only go to spots in your main board, on your player board I mean, but also you have to cross the hazardous territory between your territory and
the capital.
And for that, you will need exosuits.
And we're going to lay out all of these guys.
So in the Kickstarter version, we have 30 different miniatures for exosuits, 6 for each faction and 1 independent one. These exosuits can actually be used to protect and transport your people.
Oh wow, look at that.
So you just slot in your worker and you can now go to the main board to take these actions. So since you can only have up to 6 exosuits, and the 4th, the 5th and the 6th, they cost a resource called energy core, the management of the number of actions you actually have on the main board becomes another strategic layer and a very important aspect of how to succeed in this game.
Now, since you do have some little Kickstarter bonuses, so outside of a Kickstarter edition though,
Yes.
Are people getting a smaller collection of miniatures?
The base game does not have miniatures. The base game has these hexes that work exactly the same way as the miniatures.
Right,
But we do sell them separately in the form of an expansion. So this expansion contains all 30 minis, and then it has also an additional module to the game. So it's minis and some gameplay.
Now you mentioned that each one of these factions also has a double-sided board.
Yes.
So I'm guessing that one is something unique to that particular faction, or you can all play something that is the same, just kind of
Yes.
get your feet wet.
Yes, that's correct. This side is the same for all players. Same cost for building, same bonuses for time travel. But this side reflects the personality of the path a little bit more. For example, this is the time traveling path, so to say. So they get to score more points if they can max out the time travel track and things like that. You also get very variable player power, since each path has 2 leaders you can choose from, and each has a special ability that will greatly influence the game.
How long do you think a game typically takes?
If it's not your first game, then it should be over in 2 hours for 4 players.
All right, well, Victor, I'm so glad we were able to have you pop in real quick and give us a quick tour of Anachrony, and that's from Mind Clash Games. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.